This is the pool that thing came from. The parasite now writhing behind your eye.
I should reach towards the pool.
Yes, you've come to save us from this place. From this place you'll free us. Please. Before they return. They return.
Who am I talking to? A man or a brain?
A newborn. Born new from this husk.
You realize you're talking to an intellect devourer, a minion of the mind flayers who abducted you.
You sound afraid. Why?
The enemy. So many enemies.
I think you're past the point of saving. Tell me what to do.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
The brain won't budge.
What?
Abomination. This is your end.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
My head. What is this? Skvar. You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
What made you think I was a thrall?
We carry mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
We're turning into mind flayers. There must be something we can do.
We can do nothing until we escape. That must be our priority. First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. We will address the matter of a cure for this infection once we reach the material plane. We have no time for stragglers.
I'll look around. There must be some way of getting this thing open.
Try that contraption next to the pod. They did something to it when they sealed me in. Hurry! Please!
The console appears dormant.
I should look for a switch or release.
The mechanisms are completely unrecognizable at first, but then you spy an empty socket. Dazed woman is trapped inside the pod. She doesn't notice you. As you place your hand on the pod, you hear something. A presence connected to the pod, commanding the person inside to change.
Char. Changed at the pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
The newborn mind flayer stares at you, weak and dazed.
Come on! Get me out of this thing!
I found some sort of key. It might free you.
Good. Try using it on that machine next to me. Hurry! Please!
The console appears dormant.
I'll put the rune in the socket.
The console hums to life. But what is its purpose? Will it free the captive or transform her like that other unfortunate?
I'll take a closer look.
The pulsing glow and organic lines of the device make it seem more like a beating heart than a machine. This device is different from the one that caused the other captive to transform. Perhaps it will open the nearby pod.
I should place my hand on the console.
Suddenly, you feel a hideous squirming in your head. The parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
I can will it to open. The biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Your mind lurches into her thoughts. Her gratitude is mixed with wariness, because you have a Gith with you.
You keep dangerous company.
Dangerous company is what you need in a fight.
Fair point. Looks like there's plenty of fighting ahead. Let me come with you. We can get off this ship and watch each other's backs along the way.
All right, let's get going. I'm Davian Talun.
Shadowheart. One moment.
What was that?
It's nothing. Trust me.
Enough of this chatter. We need to get to the helm. Now.
She's right. Lead on.
We are nearing the helm. Once inside, do as I say.
Who put you in charge? I'll trust my own judgment.
Kanyank.
Connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
The helm's alien transponder. You've made it in time.
As you wake, the tadpole squirms in your skull. Other than the infection, you're more or less intact. A miracle, given everything you've been through, but it'll all be for nothing if you don't find help soon. The tadpole is a death sentence, and the clock is ticking. You need a cure.
I should wake her.
You're alive. I'm alive. How is this possible?
I was hoping you might know that.
I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Well, now what?
First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
We? You want to stay together?
We need each other. And we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
All right. Let's get moving.
One thing, just before we go. I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't. I'll remember that. Lead the way.
Hurry! I've got one of those brain things cornered. There, in the grass. You can kill it, can't you? Like you killed the others?
Easily. Stand back.
There. Can you see it? Not a sound. Not if you want to keep that darling neck of yours. And you, keep your distance. No need for this to get messy.
I need him alive. Stow that blade, or I'll show you just how messy things can get.
Promises, promises. But I have other business, I'm afraid. Now, I saw you on the ship, didn't I? Nod? Splendid. And now you're going to tell me exactly what you and those tentacled freaks did to me.
You have it backwards. They took me prisoner, just like you.
Don't lie to me.
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
It's the Mind Flayer's worm. It's connected us.
You're not one of them. They took you. Just the same as me. And to think, I was ready to decorate the ground with your innards. Apologies.
Glad to see we're all caught up now.
Indeed we are. Please, allow me to introduce myself. My name's Astarion. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
I should introduce myself. I'm Baldurian as well.
Is that so? We clearly move in different circles. So, do you know anything about these worms?
Yes. Unfortunately, they'll turn us into Mind Flayers.
Turn us into... course it'll turn me into a monster. What else did I expect? Although, it hasn't happened yet. If we can find an expert, someone that can control these things, there might still be time.
Control it? We need to get rid of it.
Well, yes, of course. But first things first.
Yeah, well, you should travel with me. Our odds are better together.
You know, I was ready to go this alone. But maybe sticking with the herd isn't such a bad idea. And you seem like a useful person to know. All right. I accept. Lead on.
You approach the dying monster. This is the thing that abducted you. You could end its life here and now, if only you didn't feel compassion. Compassion?
This isn't right. No. No, I should be furious.
Yes, you feel hate. And you deserve to be punished for it. You should be whipped, made to bow before this creature in shame. It's possessing your mind, forcing you to love it. But then the feeling slips. The creature's mind seems to focus elsewhere.
I need to concentrate.
Your minds fuse, lusting for something that is gone. But then its grip claws back with a vengeance, a vice locking your mind into obedience. It needs sustenance to survive, and with your very body, you can provide.
Must resist the intrusion.
The monster lies exhausted, defeated. Its eyes, wet orange pearls, radiate malice.
No more.
You approach the sigil on the stone. Magic glitters and swirls from it erratically, as if malfunctioning. It looks slightly dangerous.
Maybe touching the sigil?
A hand? Anyone?
Who are you?
Just your average traveler stuck between realms. Pull me out, and we'll get properly introduced.
I should grab the hand.
That's it! Go on! Keep pulling! Oh. Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep. Apologies. I'm usually better at this.
No need to apologize. Are you all right?
A bit shocked, but friend, it's a relief and a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking. You were on the North Lloyd as well.
I was, yes.
And I can only assume you too were on the receiving end of a rather unwelcome insertion in the ocular region.
Couldn't have phrased it more repellently myself.
No use sugarcoating it, is there? The insertee we speak of, this parasite, are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers? It's a process known as ceramorphosis, and let me assure you, it is to be avoided. You don't happen to be a cleric by any chance, do you? doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle?
You seem to know enough about our condition to realize it's beyond most clerics' skills.
Most, no doubt, but I find myself hoping to be in the presence of the few. You don't happen to be one of them.
I can tend to basic wounds and ailments, but alien parasites, I'm afraid not.
As we've established, few enough can. It's not exactly a common affliction. We're most certainly going to need a healer, and soon, too. How about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together?
Sounds like a plan. You're welcome to join me.
Most excellent. A parasite shared is a parasite halved. Or something to that effect. Oh, but before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you for pulling me out of that stone. It was an act of foresighted kindness, I assure you. For I have the feeling ample opportunities will present themselves for me to return the favor.
Zoru was right. Yellow as a toad, twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
And if it escapes, how will you... Oh, a guest.
Your skull pounds in response to the prisoner's white-hot stare. Her lips don't move, yet you hear her voice.
Get rid of them.
Don't worry. I'll get them out of here one way or another.
Your words flow to her, though you never speak them aloud.
I know what grows inside you, and I know of a cure.
Remember how keen she was to leave me to die in the Nautiloid? We can't trust her.
Your quarry looks dangerous, but I've handled worse. Leave it to me. Get to safety.
He's right. Let's go. We need to check out that blast.
A blast? I could use more specifics.
You didn't hear it. Shook our camp good, so we came for a look. Northwest. Look for Nettie. Whatever your wound, she can mend it.
And be careful. There are goblin traps everywhere.
Nymessa, come.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Say please.
Never. The tadpole hasn't yet scrambled all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful. She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
And what exactly is a creche?
It is many things. A hatchery, a training grounds, a shelter. Githyanki protocol is clear. When infected with a Gaith tadpole, we must report to Augustil for purification.
All right. We journey together. Let's find this creche.
You are full up. Dismiss your weakest warrior.
It might be better than just to wait at camp. We can speak there.
Very well, but heed my words. The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki. A creche must be near. I must interrogate this Zoru. Our very lives depend on it. I will be at your camp. Do not keep me waiting.
You! Not another step, hear me? Boss! Got company up here!
What's this then? Trying to creep around us and loot the crypt? Not happening. Or is it the ship you're after? Don't matter either way. It's ours. All of it.
Selfish cur. There might be survivors, yet you think only of loot. Leave before I make you leave.
Well, in that case, come on, you lot. No point in getting killed. Second worm gets the cheese and all.
Second mouse gets the cheese, no?
Nobody's getting any damn cheese. Now move it!
Have you, Gibblebock? Everything all right out there?
Gibblebock ran. Your friends abandoned you.
Yeah? I'll always were a bit soft. But I've got plenty of friends who ain't soft. Come in here and you can meet them.
This book is far lighter than it should be with such a massive lock.
Maybe if I channel the magic spark of my oath through the lock.
The tome does not take kindly to your tampering. A feeling like pins and needles lingers under your skin, pricking and prodding.
Damn thing. Must smash it open.
As the lock opens, a loose page comes with it. Magic pulses from the parchment. What was once script is now an obliterated scrawl. You have a sense these are names, a list. But of what?
I should examine this more closely.
Gods. These are the names of gods, once lost but now restored after the Second Sundering. The last three names in this book sit close together, but are so devastated by the scrawl as to be unreadable. Entire pantheons have dwindled and been reborn, silently recorded by this book.
So he has spoken, and so thou standest before me, right as always. What a curious way to awaken. Now, I have a question for thee. What is the worth of a single mortal's life?
What manner of undead are you to ask such a question?
I am not the same as those thou hast slain, if that is what thou askest. Wilt thou answer my question?
I don't owe you any answers.
That is true, but matters not. We have met, and I know thy face. We will see each other again at the proper time and place. Farewell.
A monster forms inside us, and you think to be idle. I knew your kind to be fragile, but I didn't foresee the severity.
Be quick about your rest. We must locate a creche.
We need to pace ourselves. Don't you know an exhausted warrior is an ineffective one?
A thick-headed notion in a complex circumstance.
Do you suppose the parasites inside us dare to rest? That the Geich do not still pursue us with each peal of the bell? Take your rest. I will stand watch. Should a single tentacle split your skull, I will not hesitate to end you.
Aye.
Go to hell.
And good evening to you too.
Ha! You're a good sport. Go to hell. An everyday expression. So trivial it's almost meaningless. But we've seen hell. It's real. And it isn't trivial.
What's on your mind, Gale?
Devils, dragons, mind flayers. They used to be abstracts. Pictures on a piece of paper. What a difference a day makes. Now we have tadpoles slithering through our heads like carnivorous feti. That's not abstract.
I'm not too worried. We'll find someone who can help us.
That's the spirit. Let's be up with the lark. Find a healer before the wee one gets hungry.
Doing the rounds, are you? You'd better get some rest. What were you two talking about?
What do you mean?
You and that Gith Yankee.
We were just discussing the next steps.
I see. I'd be careful with Lae'zel.
I wasn't confiding in anyone. I was just talking.
So am I. If we're to survive, we need to trust each other. You seem reliable. I think you know how important it is that we find someone who can cure us. Best if we focus on that.
Agreed. The sooner we find someone to help, the better.
Good. We might even get lucky and find one right away. As I see it, we're overdue some good fortune. Rest well.
Do you mind? I'm brooding.
A Githyanki joining our company. Not a collaboration I'd have anticipated, but a welcome one nonetheless.
Tell me a bit more about yourself.
Let's see. I hail from Waterdeep, City of Splendors. I am a wizard of considerable acclaim and scholar of exceptional accomplishment. I have a cat, a library, and a weakness for a good glass of wine. And if the mood takes me, I'm known to try my hand at poetry. There.
Well, don't stop there. You must have stories to tell about your adventures as an archmage.
Didn't that paint enough of a picture?
Change the subject.
Lae'zel has a dangerous look in her eyes. Let's just hope she reserves those impulses for any common foes.
So what's the story with that odd little artifact you have?
There's no story. None that you're entitled to hear, anyway. Just forget you ever saw it.
What do you think of all that's happened to us so far?
We haven't gone all that far yet. What are you referring to exactly?
Well, you must have thoughts about our little stowaways.
Must I? Thinking about it won't help. We know what to do, so let's do it. Find a way to rid ourselves of these things. I'm not too hopeful that a Gith crash will actually prove our salvation, but worth keeping in mind.
And what will you do if we actually manage to remove these tadpoles?
I suppose we'd go our separate ways. Not a slight on your company, of course.
No reason for us not to stay together if we get on well.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. If we do survive, we'll have separate lives to return to. I need to get to Baldur's Gate. There's someone waiting for me there. Someone I have to reach. As soon as possible.
Seems personal. I won't pry if it's not something you want to talk about.
Thank you. And you're right. It's a delicate matter. Not something for light conversation.
A strange follow-up question, but how am I holding up to your estimations?
I must admit, you've been a surprise, and not an unpleasant one. Kindred spirits are few and far between for me. Besides, you saved my life aboard the Nautiloid. How can I do anything but sing your praises?
We should get to know each other a little more.
Must we? No harm in a little mystery, don't you think?
We have to rely on each other. Easier if we know each other as well.
Easier's often less interesting. Besides, we've plenty of reason to rely on each other already. You can't confide in just anyone about a monster in your head.
If you're not comfortable, I won't press you.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll get along perfectly well.
I am enjoying the latest addition to our little group. Lae'zel is delightful. In a very look at me twice and I'll dismember you kind of way, of course.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, what's to tell? I'm a magistrate back in the city. It's all rather tedious.
Chatter already, Tusky.
Do you know much about mind flayers?
I understand much beyond your comprehension. More to the point, I know the cure for our condition. It is imperative we locate a creche. You do well to observe more and question less.
Do you know what happens if we don't find a cure?
Yes, in great detail. It starts with a fever and memory loss. Then you start to hallucinate. Your hair falls out, and you bleed from every orifice. Your bones will change form. Your jaw will split to allow room for 4 great tentacles. All skin will turn to gore and be shed to reveal new flesh underneath. Then you have ceased to exist, and a mind flayer is born.
That sounds awful. How are you so calm?
Because I do not intend to let this happen. Not to me, and if you stick with me, not to you. We must find my kind and be rid of the parasite. It's as simple as that. The first symptoms should have long since started, though. That is what puzzles me.
You're worried we haven't changed. This is good news.
Yes, if you give it no further thought. But anomalies lead to surprises. Bad surprises. Besides, what hasn't happened may yet come to pass.
Open the bloody gate! Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders!
That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now!
You let goblins here? Where is the druid?
Please! There's no time!
By the 9 hells! Open the gate! Damnable roach! Provoke the blade! And suffer its sting.
That was the last of them. Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
There are children here, you fool!
We was running for our lives.
You led them straight to us, and you let them take the druid too? Unbelievable!
I've seen far bloodier battles than this. Consider yourselves lucky.
And who the hell are you again?
Show some respect. This man saved your pathetic life.
Well, I didn't ask for any goddamn help.
Please, you were begging me to open the gate. Anything to save yourself, you coward!
More violence won't bring back those you lost. Stop and think.
You're right. There's too much at stake.
Worried about your precious hides, the both of you.
Enough! Squabbling is pointless. The goblins have found us.
At least we agree on that.
He's not breathing! Go find a healer!
It's too late. He's gone.
No!
I'm sorry. It happened so fast.
Someone's going to pay for this.
Arka, no! Wait! What are you doing?
You have good timing.
Never been much of a fighter, so wrestling a bugbear would have gone... poorly. But you're not here for heroics, are you? Avernus's stench is all over your skin. Let me guess. Your devil mistress sent you to get her soul coin back. Too bad. I earned it, fair and square.
The path I follow is far more noble. If you possess a devil's artifact, you should leave it in my charge.
I'm going to be chased all over Faerun for this damn coin, aren't I? Fine. Take it as a grudging payment for the rescue. Now leave me in peace.
Now, what exactly is this coin?
It's a soul wrapped up in a terrible iron package. Don't ask whose, because I don't know. I hope it brings you better luck than it has me.
Forgive that display. Aradin's a blowhard, but that's no cause for me to join him. Thank you for your help out there. I'm Zevlor.
Well met. I'm Davian Talun.
Well met. I should warn you, visitors are no longer welcome in this grove. Whatever your business, I'd see to it quickly. The druids are forcing everyone out. This attack will only strengthen their resolve.
Those goblins. Have there been many attacks like that?
There have been several attacks by different monsters. The druids blame us outsiders for drawing them here. Nobody's welcome anymore. They've started a ritual to cut the grove off from the world outside. We can't stay, but we'll be slaughtered if we leave. We're no fighters.
This ritual. Is there no way to convince the druids to stop it?
I've tried. Korga, their new first druid, won't even see me. You, though? I know it's not your business, but she owes you for saving this place. Perhaps you could persuade her. For more time to prepare, if nothing else.
I'll see what I can do.
Really? We're messengers now.
We'd owe you a great debt. If we're forced to leave now, we won't make it to the city. You'll find the druids at the heart of the grove. Please, make them see sense before more lives are lost.
Refugees, adventurers, no one in years, and suddenly we're overwhelmed. Well met. And thank you for beating back those goblins. Most brave of you. Is there anything you need? Act fast if you do. The ritual will be complete before too long.
Are you really locking down the grove?
I know it's drastic, but more monsters seem to terrorize this region every day.
What about the people here?
We druids will be safe. As for those that took refuge here, well, may Sylvanas guard them as they continue their travels.
You just said the region's overrun by monsters. They won't survive by themselves.
As I said, it's a drastic measure. But the survival of the grove is paramount. There just aren't enough supplies to support everyone.
Very well.
We meet again, as predicted. I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services.
Not to be rude, but what are you?
There are many answers to that question. None are important.
Maybe if I focus my divine energy, I could feel something from his presence.
There is a great divine energy indeed, but the source is unclear.
You were sorting something before. What were you doing?
Beyond mortal realms, there doth exist an amalgamation of spirits akin to thine own, ensnared by the treacherous cult of the Absolute, felled in its name. They bear great discontentment with their destiny. For a mere pittance of coin, I might summon the worthiest among them to lend aid to thy undertaking.
Will these hirelings be joining me willingly?
Most willingly, forsooth. Their passions doth run deep for what hath been wrought upon them.
Do you think I can trust these cultists?
Suspicion always haunts the guilty mind. My services are all that I can proffer thee. What thou wilt do with them is for thee to undertake.
Impressive. Are there any other ways you can help us?
Should thou or any of thy compatriots perish, I will cleave soul to body once more.
You mentioned a cost. What is it?
A matter of coin.
Very well.
How do you feel?
Fine. Much better than I thought I would, given the circumstances.
Yes, me as well. Besides the occasional mental exchange, it's almost as if we're not infected. I feel good. It's so strange. Do you remember the voice aboard the ship?
It's been hard to forget.
Yes. Almost like it's whispering to me still. The voice said I'd become a beautiful weapon. What do you think that means?
Sounds to me like it has plans for us.
Whatever they were, those plans were interrupted by the dragons. Either way, we can't take the lack of symptoms for granted. We have to find a healer. Well, I've said my piece. Get some rest.
Sounds like you've been learning all about your gruesome future. I have to say, I thought you'd look worse, but no. Not a tentacle to be seen.
That's what everyone's saying. Is it so strange?
It's unexpected, but we shan't complain. I'm not taking anything for granted, of course. First sign of change, and I'll have to stop that pretty little heart of yours. I am open to suggestions. Knives, poison, strangulation, whatever you'd prefer.
I'd prefer not to die.
Well, now you're just being close-minded. There are some lovely ways to go. I've watched urchins freeze to death in the street. It looks peaceful, just like falling asleep.
I guess if I had to choose, I'd want a knife. Make it quick.
A classic. One good thrust to the heart and you're gone. We need a good blade, of course. Don't want to waste time hacking and prodding with a dinner knife. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is all a worst-case scenario, obviously.
Obviously, but that won't happen. It can't.
If the last day has taught me anything, it's that the impossible is more likely than you think. Now, let's get some rest. The sooner we start tomorrow, the better our chances of keeping this hypothetical.
Be with you in a moment.
What are you doing?
Indulging in a spot of vanity. Handsome devil, aren't I? Be that as it may. Ceramorphosis. What does it make you think of?
Well, first and foremost, that damn tadpole.
Spot on. Day 1, fever and memory loss. Day 2, hallucinations and graying skin. Day 3, hair loss and blood leaking from all orifices. Need to go on? Day 4, excruciating pain as the skeleton and organs reform and reposition. Day 5, the host personality has disappeared. Fingers and toes and limbs elongate. I take it you get the picture?
I do, but you might as well finish the picture.
Day 6, the flesh around the mouth splits to make way for tentacles.
Day 7, a Mind Flayer is born.
A very vivid picture, and very upsetting.
The storyteller's gift. My point is this: our orifices remain blissfully unblooded, our heads remain clear, and our blood temperature normal. Any expert will agree this is abnormal.
Can you explain why the symptoms aren't showing?
That, alas, is where my knowledge fails me. A rogue might call it luck, a priest might call it fate. As for myself, I'm a pragmatic. I see the silence before the storm. Something to sleep on. We should get some rest.
Abominations grow inside us. Our bones should ache. Our mouths should bleed. Yet we thrive. It is madness. Keep your rest short. Time is not our ally.
Hells! We can't just leave. They're kin!
I'll not gamble our lives, our futures, on people who are as good as dead. We must leave for Baldur's Gate at once.
Can we all just take a moment, please?
What's the point in blades and spells if we don't bloody use them? We should stay! These people aren't fighters. We can help!
Or yell louder. That's fine too.
Where the weak have need, the strong have a duty. Stay.
Just like I was saying, I don't want all these lives on my conscience. We need to stay.
Zerg! Fine. We'll stay. If we survive, it'll make for a good story, I suppose.
Thank you, Roland.
Ah, you're addressing me, a humble ox. How quaint.
There's something strange about this ox. What is it?
Something's off. This creature isn't what it appears to be.
There's more to you than meets the eye. Care to explain?
No. You are incapable.
Come on, old chap. I'm a devil for gossip.
I'll tell you this much. I'm going to Baldur's Gate, with or without the rest of these poor sods. Now, that's all I have to say besides, and I really mean this, move.
Go on. Give me a best shot. Not bad. Again.
I can't do it. I'm not like you.
Umi, I don't need you to be like me. You just have to buy enough time to run. Come on. I believe in you. You can do this.
It's good advice, child. You do well to listen.
You're on the right path, Umi. Go on now. Practice what you've learned. Well met. The Blade of Frontiers at your...
The man's smile bends downward, and his thoughts become yours. You are the Blade of Frontiers racing through the wastes of Avernus. Just ahead, a diabolical figure, red skin, single curled horn, blazes with flame, bloodied great axe held high.
Hell's great fires. You were on the ship.
Who was that woman? The one in your thoughts?
You saw her then. Advocatus Diaboli.
Advocatus Diaboli. A devil's advocate. A champion in the blood war between diabolical forces and demons.
Her name is Karlach, an archdevil soldier I swore on my good eye to kill. I tracked her through the hells to the Mind Flayer ship, but the damned Illithids infected me before I could end her. She's out there now,
preying on the innocent. I don't kill her, she'll leave behind nothing but a trail of corpses.
I'm more concerned about the parasite. I suggest we search for a healer. Together.
An excellent suggestion, but your party's full up. Still, when the time comes, call for the blade. I won't be long to answer.
Very well. Go to my camp and wait for me then.
A splendid plan. We'll talk more there.
The Githyanki people have a word for men like the Blade of Frontiers. Shalak. Roughly translated, idealist do-gooder. Or better yet, benevolent burden. His confidence is an asset. His pursuit of valor, not so much.
So, we're traveling with the famed Blade of Frontiers. I feel safer already.
The Blade of Frontiers. Let's hope Will lives up to his name. We'll need all the help we can get.
The Blade of Frontiers at your calling.
How does the Blade of Frontiers end up chasing a devil in the hells?
Karlach's fires raged in Baldur's Gate before she escaped to Avernus, as my source told it, and she was planning to return. One of the archdevils Ariel's own, chaos incarnate, a devil with pure fire for a heart. I made my way to Avernus to stop her. She fled from my reach, even climbed aboard the Mind Flayer ship as it screeched through the hells. I followed in close pursuit. I can't bear to imagine the lives Karlach might be taking, the damage she might be doing.
It's not exactly easy to journey to the hells from the Sword Coast. How did you manage it?
A powerful friend with a keen interest in privacy. I'm sworn to say no more.
Seems we should move on to other matters then.
All right. What else is on your mind?
Tell me, Will, how did you become the Blade of Frontiers?
My father once said, one does not pursue a champion's life. One merely answers its call. So it was for me. I was hunting near the Cloakwood when I heard it. A child crying out from a lone farmstead. I found him in the fields, flanked by goblins. His mother's corpse bled into the soil next to him. I don't remember much of the battle, but I remember drying the boy's tears after.
What act could be finer than saving a life? You must have felt proud.
Proud? No. Angry. Angry at the monsters preying on innocents. Angry at the so-called good gods for tolerating the cruelty of the evil. Angry at myself that it took so long for me to see the coast suffering. The frontiers demanded a blade. And so I heeded.
It's nice to finally put a face to the name.
And it's nice to meet someone of your talents. Having a worm wriggling in my skull didn't instill much confidence in the days ahead. With you as my ally, the future looks a little less daunting.
My apologies, but I've noticed your stone eye. Did you lose it in battle?
A most vicious one, in fact. It's made from pure bloodstone, carved from the Galena Mountains just north of the Moonsea. A reminder that sometimes blood must be shed and sacrifices must be made. But that story is reserved for lifetime friends and calmer days.
I don't suppose you've come across an expert healer in your travels?
I've come to know a fair few village clerics, but none with the skill to pull these worms from our heads. From what I understand, there's a healer called Nettie in the Grove. Perhaps she's got the talent. We should pay her a visit.
If you'd will it, I'd like you to join me.
That's the spirit.
I saw you at the gates. You fight well. A few words for the kids? Spare a story or two.
Be strong, and watch over your kin. In trust, there is victory.
Thanks. I prefer when they smile.
Step, parry, strike, damn it! It's just not landing.
Interesting technique. Having some trouble?
Nothing but.
Goblins in the wild, out for blood, and the druids in here looking to kick us out. Or worse. We need to be ready for a fight. But I'm useless with a sword.
Perhaps I should demonstrate for him. Show him the fluidity of movements he lacks.
Like this, you mean? Step, step, strike. Yes! You really know what you're doing. Found this by the road. Bet you'll put it to good use?
Keep training. In time, you'll make short work of any goblins.
Hopefully, it's just the goblins we have to worry about. The druids are treating us like vermin. But I'll keep at it. Thank you.
One last thing. Maybe don't shout out your moves like that. Spoils the surprise for your foes.
Oh, yes. I'll bite my tongue when the time comes.
Be well.
Hold out your hand, mister. Let me show you something. Go on. Take this ring. It's lucky.
That was a fancy trick.
You haven't seen anything yet, mister. Go on. Take the ring and watch your fortune change.
Perhaps I'll show him a thing or two.
Weeping, bleeding hells! Okay, maybe you don't need extra luck. But since you're already holding the thing, call it. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads it is. See? That's the kind of luck you get from one of my lucky rings. I've got more where that came from. Real cheap, too. Interested?
No, thank you. But I do appreciate it.
Let my daughter go right now!
She's a thief, hell spawn. And you will wait for Korga's judgment. Now get back!
Oh, let me through, Mragrasham, or I'll rip your damn throat out! We need to get Arabella out, now!
You heard the guards. They're waiting on Korga to give word.
I'd sooner trek through the 9 hells than trust that snake! Ugh!
I saw what happened. Why are the druids holding your daughter?
Arabella tried to steal their idol. Druids lost their damn minds about it. They need it for their precious ritual.
Oh, it's all my fault. I told her I wished the wretched thing would just disappear, or better yet, explode.
Now Arabella's being judged by a bunch of druids who hate us. That's not right.
Breaking into druid chambers to steal a sacred relic. Oh, she sounds like fun.
She's just a child. These druids are overreacting. I'll talk to them.
Thank you. They won't give us the time of day.
Hurry! I'm at the end of my tether as is. Can't take this waiting.
Come, Magrin. Give him a chance. You, get back.
If it weren't for me, you'd be overrun by goblins by now. I'll go where I please.
Keep back. Force my hand and I'll show you its claws.
A moment, Giona.
What? Oh, I understand. You. Apparently Korga wants to see you. Go ahead.
Ah, my good friend. You were at the gates just now, no? When the goblins came? You saw them up close? A few questions, if you please. There's no overstating my interest.
And there's no overstating my disinterest. I've no time for questions.
I'll make it very quick. Hand to heart.
Fine. Ask your questions.
Glory. Now then. How How would you describe that particular batch of goblins? Size, nature, distinguishing qualities?
You search your mind, successfully recalling various details of goblin behavior.
Common variety goblins, led by a lasher and flanked by booyogs.
My, a scholar after my own heart. Spent much time among goblins?
The time was spent among books. I am a student of the page.
Uh-huh. I've always preferred experience to the second-hand accounts of lesser men. But to each their own. Now, I've a few more questions, if you don't mind. And the dragon they had marching in the rear, was it of the brass or silver variety?
Dragon? There wasn't any dragon.
Witnesses failed to notice the obvious dragon. Last question, then you'll be quite free. Did the attackers rally to the absolute when they fell upon the gates?
Yes. They called out the name like a war cry.
They did, didn't they? Oh, curious. Oh, curious indeed. I've interrogated one, a captive in this very camp. She reports they've abandoned their god Maglabiet in favor of someone called the Absolute. The scandal! Never you mind. I'm on my way to their camp as we speak. I always knew my studies in Gukliak would come to some use.
Be careful. Goblins aren't known for mercy.
Oh, never you mind. Who needs mercy when you've a quick tongue, hmm? And an invisibility potion stashed in your back pocket? Until we meet again.
Please. I'm sorry.
This is madness, Korga. She's just a...
A what, Wrath? A thief? A poison? A threat? I will imprison the devil. And I will cast out every stranger.
Thief. Poison. What's this girl's actual crime?
Girl? You mean parasite? She eats our food, drinks our water, then steals our most holy idol in thanks. Wrath, lock her up. She remains here until the rite is complete. And keep still, devil. Tila is restless.
Come, Korga. We took back the idol. Surely...
Do it.
I'm versed in the ways of justice. Make your case and I will pass judgment.
Very well. I'll defer to your ruling. My circle has offered grace to these outsiders. We gave them shelter from storm. We nourished their bellies. In return, these devils lured in a horde of goblins. And their spawn stole the one relic that might keep us safe. We've taken back our relic. But I will keep the fiend caged till our protection rite is complete.
What do you have to say for yourself, child?
I was scared. They said when the rite was over we'd have to leave. But there's goblins out there and worse. And it's nice here. So I took the idol. I thought maybe then we could stay. Please let me go. I'll be good, I swear.
Well, Paladin, what say you?
Return the girl to her family. She's made amends, and you have your relic.
Thank you! Thank you, thank you!
Tila, to me! Out, thief. My grace has its limits.
It hurts.
Thank you, Korga. Master Halsin...
Halsin isn't here. Keep his name off your tongue, lest Tila pierce it.
I know that look. You're wondering why I was in pain before. Let's just clear the air about that now. It's just an old wound that hurts me from time to time. Nothing to be concerned about. It's nothing to do with the tadpoles, at least, in case your imagination is in danger of getting away from you. It's just something I have to live with.
How badly does it hurt?
Quite a lot, if I'm being honest. But it always passes quickly, so I can manage.
And you're sure it's not connected to the tadpoles?
Positive. You can trust me on that.
Very well.
Go on. Say it. You think I'm a monster?
Monster? Too kind. A demon, more like.
Only a monster would threaten a child.
Yes, you would say so. I know your kind. You see only villains and victims. A viper bears her fangs defending her brood. I call her mother. You call her monster. No matter. I took back the idol of Sylvanus, and the rite is resumed. We will seal the grove, free from harm, free of intruders.
Zevlor believes his people will perish on the road.
And mine perish if he stays. You showed great mettle at the gate. The mettle of a skilled sword for hire. I want you to provide your services to Zevlor. Offer to guide the Outlanders out of the grove. I'm sure they'll reward you well. They're to be gone before final prayer. If they are not, the Viper must strike.
And then it seems I'd best speak with Zevlor.
You will do more than speak. This tale ends but one way. With the Outlander rot cleansed, and the grove forever shrouded.
You did well to speak up for the girl. That snake is fickle. A tragedy prevented.
My oath often aligns with the Tree Father's will. He would not abide child slaughter.
Well seen. Well spotted. We've let a snake replace our leader.
Kogha seems happy to rule the roost. Who's your real leader?
Master Halsin. Perhaps goblin caught, perhaps dead. He'd set Mistress Kogha back in line. Hold her to task, stop this damned ritual. More will die if the rite is finished. So many more, sent into a world gone mad.
If no one is looking for Halsin, I suppose I could do it.
Would you? I would give anything to see Halsin return home.
No, that settles it. No need to fret. I'll find him.
Sylvanus' blessing upon you, and my gratitude as well. Halsin is an elf with the presence of a bear. He left west with the adventurers. You won't mistake the first druid for anyone else.
I suppose you've noticed I'm not terribly fond of wolves. They're ravenous predators with fangs like daggers. It's hardly an irrational fear to harbor. You've been decent to me so far. Maybe if you can, don't make me face any more of them. At least, not alone.
No need to worry. I'll try to avoid wolves in the future, where possible.
Thank you. I had a feeling you'd be understanding.
Those murals here in the grove, something about them seemed to catch your eye.
What can I say? They were eye-catching. Consider me an art lover.
Very well.
I see you. Just give me a moment.
Is there anything I can do to help?
A moment. Vis medicatrix. There. It's up to her now. Life or death. Now, what was it you needed?
Healing. Looks like I came to the right person.
I do what I can. For most folks, that's enough. Come here. Let's have a look at you. You seem healthy enough. A bit tired around the eyes, maybe.
Well, no good way of putting this. I, have a tadpole in my head.
A tadpole? A mind flayer tadpole?
You know of them. Can you help me?
I'll do what I can. Come, follow me. I might be able to help. This one had the same problem as you. Attacked us in the woods together with some goblins. Tadpole crawled out of his head soon after.
The drow and I have the same kind of parasite.
Seems so. Gave Master Halsin a right start. It's why he joined the adventurers on their expedition. To find out what was happening. A pity you got me instead of him. He understands these things. Studied them. Still, we have options. You don't have to be here for this.
No, I'll stay. I'd rather know exactly what you're up to.
All right. Let's see what we can do.
What's that plant? Will it help?
She shifts uneasily, hesitating. Something's off.
It might. But first things first. Tell me about your symptoms. Have you noticed anything strange happening?
It might. What aren't you telling me?
I'm telling you everything you need to know. Believe me on that. I want to help you, but I can't unless you work with me. So, has anything unusual happened to you?
I can merge my mind with anyone that's been infected.
Victims can identify each other. Not that the others know they're victims, of course. How'd you pick up the parasite? Halsin was desperate to find where all this was happening.
On a Mind Flayer ship, I was kidnapped and infected.
A Mind Flayer ship? But Master Halsin was sure. Look, you've been straight with me, so I'll be straight with you. You're dangerous. If you transform here, we're all dead. But you seem like a good soul. You deserve a chance to save yourself. This is a vial of wyvern poison. Swear to me, you'll swallow it if you feel any symptoms.
In the Watcher's name, I swear it.
I hope it doesn't come to that, but thank you. Here. You know, I've spent my life treating folk and never once saw a Mind Flayer infection. Then suddenly, there's dozens of you. Maybe more. Master Halsin and I were tracking them, studying them, trying to figure out what the hells was going on. Because you should all be changing. There should be a small army of Mind Flayers out there. But you're not. Weird powers aside, you seem perfectly normal.
You must have learned something by studying them.
For one, that thing in your head is like nothing we've ever seen from Mind Flayers. It's one of their worms for sure. But this one gives you powers. Telepathic connections. And it doesn't turn you into one of them. Not yet, anyhow.
So, you think it's only a matter of time?
Could be. But there's a lot we don't know. Infected, folks like you, have been converging on an old temple of Selûne. And I've no idea why. When Master Halsin heard the adventurers were heading that way, he saw a chance to get answers. Joined on the spot. Whatever he found there, he didn't make it back.
You think he's still alive?
I think so. I hope so. I've sent birds to find him, but they can't get close without goblins trying to shoot them down. You, though, you're one of them. Technically speaking, I mean. They won't kill someone carrying their parasite. If you can find Halsin and get him out of there, we can discover what he learned. And perhaps he can save your life. How's that sound?
And you're sure he can cure me?
I can't make any promises. This is like nothing we've seen before. But I know this for sure. Master Halsin is the only one close to understanding these things. He's your best bet to survive. Otherwise, that vial's your only option.
All right, I'll find Halsin.
Thank you. It would mean everything to the Grove. To me. I wish I could tell you more. But only those adventurers know what happened out there. All I can say for sure is they all went to the old temple of Selûne. And Master Halsin didn't make it back. Good luck out there. And if things start to go bad, remember the vial. Remember your oath.
You ever scare me like that again, and I'll feed you to a gnoll.
Mom, I'm fine. Stop it.
Our little Hellion told us what happened. Thank you. Don't know what we'd do without her.
No more light-fingered antics, right, Arabella?
Yeah. I mean, thank you for helping me. Dance upon the stars tonight. Smile and pain will fade away. Words of mine will change. No. Become
What's that tune you're singing?
more like butchering. Don't know why I bother.
Are you all right?
No, I'm moments away from a grisly death. At the hands of this bloody song. I can't... Nothing fits, you know?
Perhaps I can help.
It can't hurt. I have an extra lute, if you want.
Hand me that lute. We can perform together.
I'll start from the beginning. We'll take it slow. Dance upon the stars tonight. Smile and pain will fade away.
I'll perform alongside her.
Words of mine will turn to ash when you cool the last light down.
Get going.
Moon reminds me of your grace, all the love I can't repay. Rest and know that I will pray. Farewell, my dear old friend. Sorry.
That song was beautiful. Worthy of a few tears.
Thanks. That's the first time I've played since Lihala died. My teacher. She was playing her lute. We didn't hear the gnolls coming. There was so much blood. I can still smell it.
I'm sure your teacher would be proud to see you now.
She'd yell at me for that clunky verse. And make me play till my fingers were raw. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Finish the Weeping Dawn. For her. Keep the lute. Please. You've earned it. I've a long way to go. But thank you. I needed this.
Shh. Listen.
You shouldn't be standing out in the water. It's dangerous.
Don't you hear it? It's so peaceful.
Don't hear anything. Come back to shore.
No. It's just a bit of water. I only want to listen. Just a little closer. Yes, everything's gonna be fine once I get there.
They're gone. Are you all right?
No. Yes. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you were brave, child. Heroic, even. You're safe now.
That's what the voice said. I almost got to the nest, but the singing... I need to get back. Mole will be so mad. Wait, you should meet Mole. She'll be grateful you helped me. Find a boy called Donny. Tell him you want to see the dragon's lair.
He stares right past you, as if you're invisible. Or boring.
Donny, isn't it? I want to see the dragon's lair.
He nods, then reaches for a concealed hatch.
Hey, thanks for showing me the door. Off with you now.
Well, look who's come to visit. My kids say you've been busy since you got here. Mercon says you got him out of a tight spot with some harpies. Gotta say, I'm impressed. You saved Arabella from the druids. Don't know what those bastards would have done.
No, well, happy to help.
And we're happy to be helped. Now, what can I do for you?
What are you doing down here in this cave?
Making sure we're ready to leave when the time comes.
Sorry, I thought you might need help with something.
I do, as a matter of fact. Revenge. You saw what those bastards that run the place were doing to Arabella, scaring the precious mite. I want to steal that big, shiny idol they're all chanting at.
An idol? What do you do with something like that?
The important thing is to get it away from them. That ritual's gonna get us all killed. And we can sell it once we get to the city. Thing like that's gotta be worth a small fortune.
Count me out. I'm not gonna get involved.
Figures. Don't think you've got the stones for the job anyhow. Anything else?
Not for now. Thank you. I'm sorry for bothering you.
You've been a friend to us. Come back anytime.
Thanks for fighting off those goblins. If you need to replace any gear, just ask. My selection's pretty slim. I had to leave most of my equipment in Elturel.
That forge is holding on by a thread. Are you a smith?
Of sorts. Used to be a bread and butter tinsmith before Elturel fell into Avernus. These days my talents are more eclectic. Learned a lot in my time in the Hells. Hope to forget most of it. But between you and me, there's nothing in all the realms like the utter power of infernal machinery. Alas, my offerings are far more humble these days.
Well then, thank you for your time.
We should have left by now. Damnation! Instead, we're just sitting here, practically begging to be attacked. Staying is a mistake.
You're doing the right thing. The tieflings need help.
And what about us? There's every chance we've doomed ourselves by helping these people. We will end up fodder for some goblin's blade, all because Leah insists on helping every wounded foe we see. Our best chance to make it to Baldur's Gate is on our own. This place is lost.
Are you always this selfish?
You're as bad as Leah. And I think one of her is quite enough in my life. Good day to you.
Those goblins will rue the day they chose to tangle with this grove. You and I will do some good here. I can feel it.
Lee and Roland would never admit it, but they take an arrow for the other. Also stab each other. Not sure what will come first. Thanks for cutting in. There might have been more than words if you hadn't.
You! Saw you fighting those slimy bastards. Fancy a bowl? Best to fill your belly now, while we still can.
Sure thing.
Look, it ain't much, but it might make all the difference. The only way we'll make it to Baldur's Gate is to run, and run hard. If a gnoll catches your scent, you'll need every bit of strength. Trust me.
Ah, if it isn't the talk of the camp. Thank goodness you came along when you... Oh! There isn't a bit of colour in those cheeks, Petal. Are you hurt? Cold? Feverish? Auntie Ethel will sort you out. I've lotions and potions galore.
There's no need. I'm fine, really.
Sorry, love. I just lose the run of myself sometimes. I must say, though, you're looking mighty peaky. Are right?
I'm fine. Just, bone weary after a difficult day.
Oh, stop! Even on a good day, half the camp acts like a bunch of screaming brats. I'm tempted to smack them all on the backside and tell them to kiss and make up. Not that they'd listen to little old me. Anyway, do you need anything? I have a few odds and ends for sale.
No, thank you, madam. I appreciate your time.
I heard what happened. Thank you for protecting the child. If the druids are this far gone, then it's not just goblins we have to fear.
So we can risk violence here, or face it for certain on the road. Quite the choice, isn't it?
Can you delay the ritual?
You saw what they were willing to do to a child just for trying. It's Korga's influence. Without her twisting things, I believe the druids might see sense.
Then why don't we get rid of her?
A low thought. But I'd be lying if I said I hadn't considered it.
But the druids would slaughter us. We'd have to get close to Korga, within striking distance. I can't manage that. But they've already let you pass once.
I'm not some murderer for hire.
It doesn't sit well with me either. But to get these people to safety, there's nothing I won't do. You'd be well rewarded for the risk. But if that won't sway you, there's nothing more to discuss.
You ain't gonna shoot me. Your hands are shaking.
Put it down. She can't fight back.
That's the point. Get out of the way!
She didn't kill your brother, Arka. You're better than this.
Shoot before you lose your nerve, Tiefling. If you ever had it to begin with.
This goblin is in need of judgment. I should decide her fate.
I didn't ask for you to say a damn thing! Keep out of it!
No.
Looks like the Absolute sent me a protector. You're gonna kill him too?
You, move!
This won't avenge Cannon. It won't change anything.
You're right. I wish you weren't. I really do. Damn you. Damn it! Why do you care if a goblin lives or dies?
Because vengeance eats people alive. You'll grant the goblins 2 victories this day.
You'd better be right.
It's all right, Arka. Let's go.
Ain't sure why you're protecting me. Don't care, neither. It's too late to make friends, warg meat. My tribe's coming. They're gonna burn this pretty place for the glory of the Absolute and hang you by your guts.
Who is this Absolute you're so fond of? Your god?
Goddess. We're burning her name across the face of the world, we are. The Absolute is gold from the sky, she is. The blessing in the storm and the storm itself.
You've caught my interest. Have any holy literature on you?
My tribe can tell you everything there is to know. Absolute bless one of our own. Priestess Gut. Got a whole lab set up. Cooks up potions that fix our lads, no matter how much of a beating they take. Could probably stick your head back on if someone was to chop it off. Mighty booyog.
I'm not saying we should trust a goblin, but she sounds very useful.
Well, I'd certainly like to meet her.
Get me out of here, and I'll tell you where to find her. Deal?
Actions have consequences, Sasa. Maybe use this time in the cage to reflect.
Suit yourself. Looking forward to seeing what your innards look like.